Hello everyone and welcome to Learning Minds. My name is Jyoti Nigam and I'm a software engineer. In this video, I'll be introducing you to primary shards and replica shards in Elasticsearch. So a quick disclaimer, I would highly recommend you all to watch the last video in which we learned what is sharding and how does Elasticsearch scales itself. So coming to primary and replica shards, now, we learned how Elasticsearch scales itself and what are nodes, what are clusters, and what is sharding. Now, what problem can arise now is that what if a node fails? Then we will lose our data. So, how does Elasticsearch deals with it? So, Elasticsearch has the concept of primary shards and replica shards. So the primary shard is the shard which from which the replicas are created. So like the replica shards are basically the copy of primary shards. So for example, if we have a shard 1 and we create two replicas of it, then those two replicas would be called as replica shards, and that shard 1 would be the primary shard. So you see the image over here. You see there are three nodes and there are some primary shards and replica shards. So we have one primary shard in node 1 and its replicas in node 2 and node 3. So a point to note that primary shards and replica shards are not stored in the same node because then there is no point of creating those replicas. So what happens, say if node 1 goes down. Now you see primary shard of 1 was stored over here. If this goes down, what will happen is that either of the replicas, either in node 2 or node 3, will make itself a primary shard. So for example, this replica 1 will now become primary shard 1 and this will be the replica shard. If node 2 also fails, what will happen? This replica 1 will become the primary shard. So this is how Elasticsearch overcomes the hardware failure or limitations. And another thing, that how does the data gets updated in case we do some write request, how are read request handled? So if we have some write request, if the client updates the data, they will go to the primary shard and primary shard is updated. In parallel, all the replica shards are updated. Coming to the read request. So in case of read request, the Elasticsearch returns back the data from either primary shards or replica shards. So for the read request, the throughput will be very high because the data it can be sent from any of the shards, either primary and replica. But the write requests are specifically routed and afterwards they are replicated to all replica shards, and this replication process happens in parallel. Another point I would like to mention here is that this group of primary and replica shards is known as replication group. This is a common term you may come across in future. Another point I would mention over here is that the number of the primary shards cannot be changed later. So once while indexing you declare the number of primary shards, they'll be fixed. You can't change them later. So there is a solution. So basically there are two solutions. So you can either add more number of replica shards and it would increase your read throughput, and it otherwise if you want to change the number of primary shards only, you need to re-index your entire data. So also a quick mention over here. So here you see that it is mentioned number of shards as 3 and number of replicas and as 1. So what will be the total number of shards over here? I guess most of you might get answer 4, but this is not the right answer. So the total number of shards over here will be 6. How is that? So for each primary shard, there will be a replica shard. So in this case, we have 3 primary shards. So for primary shard 1, we'll have a replica shard 1. For primary shard 2, we'll have a replica shard 2. And for primary shard 3, we'll have a replica shard 3. So number of replica basically means replicas of each primary shard. So this is how we have 3 primary shards plus 1 replica of each primary shard. That sums up to 6. I hope you understood the concept of primary shards and replica shards in Elasticsearch. In the next video, we'll be starting with hands-on uh, practical, and do like, share and subscribe, and do watch my previous videos if you haven't yet, and do comment below your views. Thank you everyone.